Hello, welcome to our channel. We appreciate each and every one of you. We're going to make sure this is working because we've had a lot of problems. You know, we stopped several nuclear weapons from going off in Washington, D.C., about 2 blocks from the White House and the FBI headquarters. And for saving the lives of all of the FBI agents, their response is, censor him, which makes no sense. We saved their lives. We stopped Washington, D.C. quite a few times from turning into a dust bowl. And the response of those whose lives were saved is to kill and destroy the people who saved their lives. That's what you're dealing with the federal agencies. Anyway, massive AI, do you really think they care about you? Do you really think that they give a rat's rip about you? You know, you can try and hide the truth. Here's a tie. Here's an old 20-year-old tie with stock quotes. But when I looked at it, it also gives the price of corn and wheat. You can have AI lie about the prices, but there they are, locked in time on a tie. You can hide the truth, but it's going to come out. Anyway, so I invest after all these years of investing, and after all these fights with the FBI for stopping nuclear weapons from going off in front of their headquarters and killing them all. I know you're going, what? I have gold and silver. That's it. All of my investments are gone. All of my bonds are gone. All of my stocks are gone. All of my bank accounts are gone. They're gone. They stole them all. They stole them all. And most of my income's gone. But I still have gold and silver. I'm almost 70. And they have stolen everything because I saved their lives. I stuck out. So they kill. That's what they do. They kill. You save their lives, they kill you. This is what I have left. This is a 10th ounce of gold. It's really cool. Silver and gold. Oh, I got a little platinum. I don't know about palladium. So I go to Noble Gold Investments because when I buy gold, I want real gold. I want to make sure they run it through their little scanner. Beep, 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 and it's not tungsten. Although tungsten is definitely needed for the defense industry like we talked about yesterday. Anyway, in the Iran war, the Ukraine continues to fire drones over Belarus into Lithuania, and Lithuania continues to say, we're going to destroy everything in Russia with our little drones. Lithuania government has gone insane. I think they have 1.8 million people there. People don't want war. The government wants war. Why? Because that's what Lucifer has ordered. We've already shown you the letters. Anyway, Ukraine war, another 1,000 people died. And Iran war, it just keeps going and going and going. Iran continues to blockade the Gulf of Hormuz. It isn't the U.S. It's the Iran Shia Muslims that are blockading the Gulf. And the Pakistan-Afghanistan war continues as Pakistan continues to bomb Afghanistan. They make bombs. They got to get rid of them somehow. And the Burma war continues as Russia and China support the government and nobody supports the people, which is 90% of Burma. They want the Russian and Chinese government out of Burma. And so Russia and China are spending millions to keep Burma. Why? I don't know. Maybe it's just because they need a war and they have bombs and they have to drop them. And Cuba has no electricity. That's right. 2 days ago, Cuba ran out of electricity. You see, Venezuela was moving. Venezuela's down here. They were moving oil up into Cuba. And then Cuba was getting weapons and expertise from Russia to destroy all of South America, to lie, cheat, steal, and murder, just like the FBI does. And Trump cut that off. In fact, he's taking the Venezuelan oil. We're one of the only countries that can process that crap crude and selling it to pay for the conflict in Venezuela. In fact, we just imported 30 or 40 pounds of weapons-grade uranium. You take 92% uranium-235, you put it in Elmer Fudd's shotgun, you fire it against an iron plate, bam-o, 15 kiloton, kind of like what happened north of Jerusalem 4 or 5 days ago. It was a Davy Crockett. I recognized this signature, the color. Somebody torched off a nuclear something or other in Israel. Not one word anywhere, no radiation detection. People of Shiloh, you better start eating seaweed now. Anyway, so Cuba has no more oil, no more electricity, no more nothing. The people are suffering and dying, and the elites, they don't care. Let the people die. We're in Havana. We have our power. We have our water. We have our food. Let the people die. Typical satanic response. Let the people die. Most of Cuba never had power anyway. So what's the difference? And on the oil market, Japan is moving to buy oil from Brazil. They're now selling them about 1 million barrels a day. I don't know what their need is. We're not going to have water-powered motors. We're not going to generate electricity with dams. Trump made that perfectly clear. The 200 dams that Biden administration tore down under Bill Ayers, the known cop killer, chief of staff of Biden, Bill Ayers, who admitted to killing cops and using pipe bombs to kill San Francisco police. That Bill Ayers, yeah, he got off on a technicality, my butt. There is no prosecution of the elites. So Bill Ayers ordered the tearing down of over 200 electrical producing dams, like all over the country. So now we have no power generation. So you're going to watch power rates continue to go up and up and up until Trump gets off his fat butt and starts rebuilding the dams. We could supply the world with enough electricity if we put up enough dams. They make great fishing holes. And there's a 7 million barrel a day oil deficit. China has 1.5 billion barrels of oil in storage. The United States has 500 million barrels of oil in storage. England won't drill. Spain won't drill. Italy won't drill. They won't build refineries, kind of like California. They're shutting down refinery after refinery after refinery, and the price of gas is skyrocketing. But here, the highest is right here in Tacoma. Highest crime rate in the world. Trump won't do anything about it. Highest gas prices in the world. They're violating federal laws. They're using federal money for affirmative action, and they're not repairing the federal highways. No prosecution from the Department of Justice. If they were going to prosecute, they would have been prosecuting these libtards 30 years ago. They have no intention of prosecuting for theft and fraud. Massive welfare fraud. They have no intention. So I want you to understand with even a 20 million barrel deficit, if there's 2.5 billion barrels in storage and there's a 20 million barrel a day deficit, don't you think we could last for at least 3 or 4 months? Yeah. Although Iran is not only blocking the Gulf of Hormuz, they're striking out against everybody they can. So we're going to watch the oil companies make gobs and gobs of profit. And remember, we talked about the VA selling military records around the world. The BlackBerry had the launch codes for the ICBMs, and I went to Moscow and they had my military records, and I had a BlackBerry phone. I didn't know it had the launch codes in the phone. The HTC phone and the BlackBerry phone had embedded in the phone the launch codes for our ICBMs. And I'm in Moscow as they're reading my military records. I've just been through a biological warfare class. You want to know where the bioweapons labs are? You want to know what they're manufacturing? Well, the Supreme Court said that the lack of security among active duty military records, the lack of security is not a concern. The Department of Justice told me I brought my case to the Supreme Court. The Justice Department told me that the lack of security is not a concern for the United States, that it's okay that we have no security in our military records. If they were going to do something, they would have done something. Trump's been in office for 6.5 years. He endorses the selling of active duty military records all over the world. China, Russia, Iran, doesn't matter. Just pay the VA money and you get the records. It's in a little zip drive. All of your records. When you fart, what you eat, where you go to lunch, it's all in here. So easy to compromise the United States because of that. We aren't a secure country. We're compromised. That's why the U.S. had some members of the intelligence community go join the Chinese Blue Army. Everything we do, everything we say is recorded and sent to China, Russia, Iran, and a dozen other countries. There is nothing secure in this country. You sit in your car, you pick your nose, that video goes right to the master computer in Utah and then off to China. Not kidding. Meet these people. Talk to them. Anyway, so they're still censoring me. The AI is still censoring me. The FBI, we saved their lives. They censor me. Typical response. What? You stopped us from getting blown up in a nuclear weapons blast 6 times? Censor him. Take his money away. Try to kill him. That's the FBI response. Where's Trump? La 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 la. Let him kill Mount, even though he stopped me from getting nuked half a dozen times. Where's Susie Wiles, Chief of Staff? Betty Boop. La 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 la. So he stopped me from getting blown up in a couple of nuclear explosions 2 blocks from the White House. 25 kilotons. La 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 la. Let him die, let him die, let him die. This is the most insane government the world has ever seen. Axios is the AI that works for the FBI. And every time I argue with the AI about the lies that they're putting out, it was programmed by Google and Axios. So what does Trump do? He gives the Axios more money. He gives the FBI more money. So, look, if they were going to stop the censoring of those telling the truth and help those who are stopping nuclear weapons from going off at the White House, they would have done it when Trump was in office the first time. And Project Veritas, very important. He's had so much fraud that he's exposed. People at the White House wanting to kill Trump. People at the White House wanting to kill Trump. People close to Trump wanting to kill Trump. Then he exposes the fraud, waste, and abuse in the welfare system, sends the videos to the Department of Justice. Then he exposes people getting paid money. You're not getting paid a lot. Here, man, how about have $3 and sign this. Sign this. Use Pinocchio Avenue as your address. 123 Pinocchio Avenue. Most of the time they use the local jail cell as their address. Here, man, sign the signature. Sign the signature. They're getting $10 a day. They're making $1,000 a month to violate federal law. So he sent video after video after video to the Department of Justice about the Democrats paying people $10 a signature to go out and get them. About them handing out $2 to $3. Here, man, sign this. They sign their name. 101 Pinocchio Drive, Los Angeles, California. Whatever, 9444, whatever, 88888. Whatever their zip code is. So, no response from the Department of Justice. All President Trump has to do is pick up the phone and say, Department of Homeland Security, arrest those in the Department of Justice who aren't doing their job. That's all Trump has to do. Hello, such and such, Director, Department of Homeland Security. You're the only agency I control. Go arrest those in the DOJ who aren't doing their job. But Trump won't make that call. I don't know why. If the Department of Justice intended to arrest people for welfare fraud, they would have acted on this ambassador's tip 20 years ago. If the Department of Justice wanted to bust those paying people for signatures in Los Angeles or all over the world, the Department of Justice would have acted on this ambassador and Knight of Malta's tip and kept it in the Army, by the way. I'm never going to get retired because Hegseth is like the FBI. You save his life and he wants to kill you. These people are the most perverted freaks I've ever seen in my life. You save their life and they're like this. Kill him! He saved my life. This is not a joke. Just in April and May, there were 6 attempts on Trump. So what did he do? He increased my censorship. 6 attempts on the president. We talked about him. So he increases his censorship. This is insane. He's absolutely gone off his rocker. Wackadoodle insane, along with his entire staff. Marco Rubio, they're in the White House in a staff meeting, and we prevent a nuclear weapon from killing all of them. And the State Department, the Securities and Exchange Commission, and the FBI are still stealing my money, despite the fact that we saved all of their lives. The only conclusion a logical man could make is that they're all completely demon-possessed, because only a demon is capable of that much evil. So, let's talk about the AI layoffs, 100,000 of them in the last month. As the president dumps $700 billion into the AI companies, they're laying off almost 100,000 people. They don't need you anymore. They'll take the money and run. Take the money and run. So they're taking the money and run. They're going to lay off most of the AI staff because they don't need them anymore, because the computers programming the computers with lies from Axios and the FBI and the FTC. They're programming the computer to lie. They're trying to change the truth. Well, here's the truth on a tie. They tried to change that truth. The AI is lying through their teeth. There it is, 20 years ago. The prices of commodities. The price of wheat hasn't changed in 56 years since I've been researching it. There it is. There must be 1 million of these ties out there. You're going to have to destroy 1 million ties just to get rid of the commodity prices. So here's how it works. Once again, Walmart, $175 billion in debt. Last year, it borrowed $20 billion. Then it turned around and declared a $20 billion debt, or $20 billion net profit. So what they do is they send out the flyers to all the elites. I was offered the elite ship. They started sending me flyers. You open that up, it says buy Walmart. Then all these child porn pictures get put on your computer by the CIA. So as long as you don't talk, they don't arrest you. So you buy Walmart, because they just borrowed $20 billion. So you buy Walmart. They then declare a $20 billion profit, and they pay it out in stock benefits and in benefits to the directors. So the directors make millions, and the stockholders make millions. Then they tell you to sell Walmart, because the borrowing's over, you sell Walmart. Then they do the same thing with another store, and with an AI company, and with an AI company. And the stock market goes up and up and up, and eventually it goes, because nothing is real. The 8 stocks that control the Dow are in debt to the tune of several $trillion building AI centers. They come in, they use eminent domain, they seize your farm, steal all the water, and then the farmland closes down because the electromagnetic waves for miles around kill everybody, everything. That's why you have no insects out there anymore. The insects are killed with 4G and 5G. That's why if you see a cell phone antenna and then you see a building, there's insects and birds behind it, but there's nothing in front of it because the cell tower kills and murders. That's why we're spending $400 billion this month to build more cell towers to kill. That's why we're spending $1 trillion on satellites to pummel us with 5G to kill planet Earth. If you think they're working for God, you got to screw loose. Anyway, God bless. Thank you very much. Now you know what's going on around the world. There will now be massive layoffs. You think, well, if they pump in 2 or 3 trillion a year into AI, they won't lay me off. Think again. Do you really think if they try to kill the man who stops a nuclear weapon from going off in their face? We talked about it on the video. Go back and look at our old videos. Do you really think the man whose life was saved 6 times in April and May, and then increases the censorship of the man saving his life, do you really think they give a rat's rip about you? No, look at the voter fraud. Look at the welfare fraud. If they were going to prosecute, they would have prosecuted 20 years ago. And Trump doesn't have the gumption to pick up the cell phone and say, hey, arrest those who are committing welfare fraud. Arrest those. All he has to do is call the Department of Homeland Security. But he won't do it, nor will his sidekick, Susie Wiles, Chief of Staff, Betty Boop, or his Assistant Chief of Staff. They've made it very clear they are not going to stop welfare fraud. They are not going to stop voter fraud. God bless. Thank you very much. We'll see you tomorrow.